Hello, this is David at Global MBA Tutorials, and today we're going to talk a little bit about break-even analysis. It's a very simple concept which helps you figure out how many units you have to produce in order to just break even. And first thing we're going to talk about okay, so let's go right into total cost. The formula for total cost is total cost equals variable cost plus fixed cost. Now, fixed costs could be things such as rent. It could also be insurance. It could be utilities. These are costs that are generally going to be the same regardless of whether you're producing materials or not. The variable costs are by definition variable, meaning they change depending on how much product you are going to produce. So if you are going to produce more, your variable costs will go up. If you produce less, they'll go down. Variable costs could be things like direct labor. So if you have a factory, your actual labor on the factory floor. It could also be direct materials, that is materials that goes into uh, whatever product that you are making. So let's just work on the first problem, which is going to be very easy. So question one, total costs. And this is our question. It says Andrews Industries manufactures pencils. It has received an order of 5,000 pencils. Each pencil requires 5 cents in raw materials and 50 cents in direct labor cost. The fixed costs are $8,000 per year. What is the total cost for this order? So let's just pick out the information that we need. First of all, we know that the raw materials is 5 cents. We know that the direct labor is 50 cents. So if we take 0.05 plus 0.50, we get our variable costs of 0.55. Now we're going to now we have our formula, total cost equals variable costs plus fixed costs. And so our variable cost is going to be 0.55 times, and we're making 5,000 pencils, so that's going to be times 5,000. And then we simply add the fixed costs, and the fixed costs are $8,000 per year. So we have 8,000. So we just put these numbers into the calculator. Let's see, 0.55 times 5,000 equals 2,750 for variable costs, plus the 8,000 for fixed costs. And so we have total costs equals 10,750. Okay, so that's going to be our total cost for making 5,000 pencils. All right. Now we're going to go into our break-even analysis on the next slide. Now there are various, how do I say, there are various formulas for break-even points. If you have a corporate finance textbook, you could probably look it up. There's probably about 4 different ones. A very popular formula is simply the Q equals fixed costs divided by price minus variable. Price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. That's a very popular one. But the one that we're going to demonstrate today is the accounting break-even point, which we have Q equals FC plus D divided by P minus V, where Q equals the total quantity that meets the break-even point, FC equals the fixed cost, D equals depreciation, P equals price per unit, and then V equals the variable cost per unit. Now this is what you would want to use if you're trying to figure out how many uh, uh, items should we produce in order just to break even, not to make a profit, but just to break even. And in this particular one, since we're using the accounting break-even point, we've included depreciation. So if you think about it, from an accounting perspective, if you have a factory and you have a lot of equipment, that's going to be depreciating throughout the year. So depreciation, of course, is included in your accounting statements, and depreciation is a loss as the machinery loses its value over time. So let's go ahead and go into the next slide, and that's going to be our problem for the accounting break-even point. Okay, so we're going to go into the accounting break-even point. Let's go ahead and read the question. It says, Shade Styles Incorporated manufactures sunglasses. The variable material cost is $10.48 per unit, and the variable labor cost is $6.89 per unit. So we got three parts to this. It says, A, what is the variable cost per unit? Okay, well, that's going to be very simple. So I'm going to do part A over here. And so we have $10.48. That's the material cost, and the labor cost was $6.89. So $6.89. And if we add those together, we're going to get a total variable cost of variable cost per unit, $17.37. So we're making sunglasses. This is our variable cost per unit. And let me go ahead and circle that. That's our first answer. Now let's go to part B. It says, suppose Shady Styles incurs fixed costs of $870,000 during a year in which total production is $280,000. What are the total costs for the year? All right, let's go ahead and do that in a different color. We're going to choose red. So part B. All right, part B, we're going to be using that total cost formula. So that's total cost equals, and my ink pen just went crazy. Let's try this again. Total cost equals the variable cost plus fixed cost. All right, so for variable cost, we have 280,000 units, and each unit is $17.37. So we're going to take 1737, multiply it by 280,000, and then we're going to add the fixed cost, which is 870,000. Let's see. So let's just put those numbers into the calculator. We have 17.37 times 280,000 plus 870,000 fixed cost. So our total cost is going to be 5,733,600. Okay, and that's going to be our total cost. All right, let's go to part C. Part C says if the selling price is $49.99 per unit and the depreciation is $490,000 per year, what is the accounting break-even point? All right, let's go ahead and use blue for this one. So we have part C, and we have to use our accounting break-even point formula, which, if you recall, is Q. That's our quantity that we have to make to break even. And it's going to be our fixed costs plus our depreciation divided by the price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. So we just plug in those numbers. We have fixed costs of $870,000. Minus our depreciation. Depreciation is $490,000. And that's going to be divided by the price per unit, which is $49.99, minus our variable cost per unit, which is, if you recall, $17.37. So let's go ahead and put those numbers into the calculator. 870,000. Oh, that's supposed to be a plus there. Plus 490,000. All right, so that's going to be 1,360,000. And then we figure out 49.99 minus 17.37. That gives us 32.62. So we just divide those. So 1,360,000 divided by $32.62. Hold on, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Just bear with me 1 second. Yep, divided by 32.62. All right, so that means that to break even, we have to produce 41,692.21 units. However, as we all know, you really can't produce 0.21 units. So what we would end up doing is simply rounding it up. So it's going to be, the quantity is approximately equal to 41,693 units. That will be our answer. Okay, so that's how many units we will have to manufacture just to break even. So we're not making any profit. All right, thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe or send likes, or if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. There's going to be more videos coming up. I'm going to do at least 2 videos per week. So stay tuned for more videos. Thank you, and see you next time.